regards to shining your light. Have any of you ever opened up a closet before and had the darkness from inside of the closet spill out and fill the room with darkness? Maybe the darkness creeped out around your feet and then thickened in the air like a steamy fog, and then suddenly the room was black. I'm no scientist, but although this is an amusing anecdote, I really don't think that this is how it works. Light usually dispels darkness. Dark doesn't dispel lightness. So when we shine our lights, we illuminate what's in the closet, so to speak. Let me ask you a greater umbrella question. What is the purpose of life? Philosophers have pondered this one for ages, and the answer is very simple. Our purpose in life is to glorify God. And when we glorify God, light is a byproduct. That's the principle. When we glorify God, light is an offput. So how can we glorify God? That becomes the question. We can glorify God by worshiping Him with our lives. That doesn't mean that we need to sit in church all day and sing. Music is an aspect of worship. But we can take every action that we do in a day and perform it for God, for His glory. We can seek to honor Him with every decision we make in a day. So to quickly illustrate this, I could get up in the morning, and rather than pull out the very convenient frosted flakes, I could cook myself an egg and some whole wheat toast and make that an act of worship. I can tell God, I'm grateful for the body that you've given me, and I want to eat healthy to honor you. I could smile at people as I walk to school, or I'm friendly to the person in Target who's in the holiday rush and is doing the checkout counter, and that can be a hard job. And each of you have the ability to do this as well with your lives. Those of you who have a job, which hopefully a lot of us have that privilege, it's hard in this economy, but if you have a job, you can do the smallest tasks such as stapling a paper and make it an act of worship. You can make it the neatest staple you've ever stapled in your life. Or if you were performing, maybe presenting a job or a project to a bunch of executives, you can do that to the highest power of excellence you can achieve with your ability and do it for God's glory. Great and small, you can do this. If you're a mother, which might be the hardest job of all, you can take those midnight diaper changes, soothe the crying child when your patience is gone, and say, Lord, I am at my wit's ends, and I am tired and weary. I have nothing left, but I'm going to give you all that I have, and I'm going to do it for your glory. You can, if you're a wife, or maybe just in a romantic relationship. If you're maybe a wife of 40 years or a wife of 1 year, sometimes your husband might say something that doesn't quite sit right with you. And maybe you want to argue back or get that last jab in. But more than likely, you can turn this into an act of worship as well. Essentially, you can say, God, I love you, and I'm going to respect my husband in spite of his mistakes, and you transform what could have exploded into an act of worship. So, when I was little, probably about 5 years old or so, I recall cleaning my room. But when you're 5, you're only about that tall, and hand-eye coordination isn't quite there, your awareness of time isn't there, and your perception of clean might be different than mom and dad's perception of clean. So I would do my best, and the only reason I did it was because I thought this was what kids were supposed to do. They were supposed to clean their rooms, and I wanted to please my dad when he came home from work. So when he came home, I'd hear the front door handle kind of turn a little bit, and I'd take off down the hallway and stand there smiling at him when he walked in. And I'd say, Dad, Dad, come with me, and I would lead him to my bedroom, and my door would be shut behind me, and I'd tell him to close his eyes, and I'd crack it open and peek in just to make sure that in that time I ran from the front door back to my bedroom, it was still clean. And then I would tell him to open his eyes, and I'd push the door open, and he'd walk past me into the room, and he probably saw a wrinkled bed because I wasn't quite big enough to straighten the sheets out. And I had displayed all of my treasures on my shelves, which to him probably looked like clutter. And I wasn't big enough to run the vacuum cleaner, so I had bees and marbles and the fuzz that all little kids seem to have on their hands, probably on the floor. But he didn't critique me on any of those because he knew my heart, and he knew that I had tried my best and I did it to please him. So instead, he said, wow, Rebecca, you make me so happy to come home and see your clean room. I am so proud of you. And in those words, I knew that I had pleased my dad, just as when I seek to honor God with my life, every action that I take, I'm doing it only for God, no one else. And that's how our mindset should be, so that we put off light as a result. People see us and wonder, why are we different? So to kind of close, worship is an expression of love, and it's what we were made to do. John Piper once said, God is most glorified when we are most satisfied in Him. Worship should not be an obligation, but rather an expression of love offered as a gift to our Maker. The byproduct of total immersion and commitment to God and worship with Him is light. Matthew 5:16 says, "In the same way, let your light shine before men, so that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." It doesn't say to praise us, which some of us might like. It says to praise our Father. They would see our actions, and we would be pointing back to Him. 2,000 years ago, in the little town of Bethlehem, a star shone brightly in the night sky, and it signaled the coming of a king. He, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, creator of heaven and earth, had come down as a man so that he could live a perfect life, only to surrender it to death. And he did this so that we might stand before God unashamed and unabashed and be forgiven of our sins. He gave us the greatest gift that we could ever receive. And he did it because he understood the principle that darkness does not dispel light. Light dispels darkness. Thank you.